All right, well, welcome to the first ever extra video that I'm doing after the review for the Tamron 50 to 400 millimeter lens, which, as I mentioned in my review, I really enjoyed and I really liked, and I think it makes good images. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know if there's a ton of other like lenses in this range. I know Sigma just came out with a 60 to 600, which is massive, but the lens itself is big. It's almost as big as like the normal like Sony 200 600 telephoto lens. So again, this is just so much more compact, and that's what I'm looking for. I mentioned in the video that I am thinking about maybe going to do photograph whales at some point later this year. And again, I was just pictured myself out on like a boat, and it's like, I don't think these boats are very big. I mean, I've never actually been on a whale. I haven't been whale watching since I was like a very young child, so I don't even remember when I went. But like, I don't think these boats are very big, and I just picture myself out there with this big telephoto, like bobbing up and down in the middle of the ocean, and I just feel like this would be so much easier to handle. So that is one of the use cases that I was thinking of. But I did just want to go into a few of my minor like sort of nitpicks with this lens, because I do have a few, and one of them was something stupid that I completely figured out how to fix on my own. But the slider here to take the lens in and out, it's I've heard a lot of people complain that it's too tight, like you have to really push to like extend. I think it's fine. I don't have any problem with the throw on it. But what I do what is weird is when I have this lens on my camera and I'm like walking around, I've got my camera on my like shoulder strap, and if I don't there's a little locking mechanism right there. If you don't lock it, then the thing really easily just like unfolds like while you're walking along. It's very awkward, so I just have to keep remembering to lock the lens in place, and now it can't move. So that was one little nitpick, but again, it was me. it was my fault for not locking it, or just getting in the habit of locking it. The other thing that I wish were different was this. This is my teleconverter. This is a 1.4x, and of course Tamron lenses cannot take teleconverter. Only Sony lenses can. So again, adding a teleconverter onto that would just give this lens even more range. 1.4x or even a 2x if you had that, but you cannot do that. So but yeah, I think the lens is super cool, and of course they put a bunch of cool shots up here on the Tamron website. All the stuff. Oh, I want to see that kind of thing. This is on the A7 IV. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, cool. So let's talk about Bohemian Waxwings in Colorado this year, which is going crazy. So I think it's just maybe 2 weeks ago I've been out looking for Bohemian Waxwings, and I have had the worst luck possible. They're very strange, and it's not strange, that's the wrong word, but they fly around in these big flocks, and what they are here eating. So again, I'm not sure if there's just scarce food up north where they normally are during the winter, and that's why they've come further down south. But what they're going after are these buckthorn bushes. To find all this food, and they're going after these like little crabapple trees too. You can see right here in this photo, yeah, these little like crab apples, and that's what they've been. That's where all the hot spots have been around town. It's like there'll be some little neighborhood that has like a crabapple tree. Everyone's like, oh, it's in this little neighborhood, and there's like 300 of them in this tree, and I'm like, what? I was like, man, I gotta get over there. But they'll stick around this tree for like, or they'll stick together, and they'll find like a spot where they start eating, and they'll stay there for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then they all fly away. And so I've been going to all these different little hot spots all around town. It's been all across the Highline Canal, where it's a lot of those buckthorn. Am I even saying that right? Is that a thing that even exists? Buckthorn. Buckthorn. Yes, that's it. It's these little berries, yeah. And yeah, and so I'll show up and there'll be a bunch of birders there, and they're like, "Oh man, there were like 2,000 of them 5 minutes ago. You just missed them." So there was last weekend. I was like, "All right, I'm dedicating this whole weekend to driving around and trying to find the Bohemian Waxwings." And I was in Denver, Centennial, Inglewood, where I live, Littleton, like just the Highline Canal, up and down. I was just going everywhere. Man, I must have walked at least 10, 15 miles last weekend, just up and down all these places looking for these Bohemian Waxwings. And yeah, I could not find them. I was driving to one spot where I had seen a couple reports on eBird. And I was like, "Oh, that's a hot spot. They seem to be there." And I drove by this little park. I was gonna get out and walk around this park. And as I drove by, I noticed there were some birds up on the top of this tree. And so I stopped from, like, in my car. I just rolled down the window and took a quick shot up in the tree. And there were two of them up at the top of the tree. And I was like, "Oh, they're here." I was like, "Great." And so I took maybe like 3 shots. And then I was looking at the back of my camera just to confirm that it was a Bohemian waxwing and not a cedar waxwing. And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's them." And then I went to get another shot and they were already gone. So they were, yeah. So I had seen like 2 or 3 of them. I think there were like 2 or 3 at the top of this tree for like 20 seconds. And then they were gone. And then it was not until a couple days ago when I went up to Wheat Ridge in this video where there were more out there. I certainly never saw, like, tons of people said they saw like flocks of like, just like I said, like 200-300 all just in these trees, and you could just sit there and take photos until, you know. I definitely still never saw that. I would say there were probably like 40 or 50 just really scattered at that Wheat Ridge Greenbelt, which is where I went the other day. And but yeah, it's been super cool to chase around and try to find. I don't know how long they're going to be here. So kind of after Wheat Ridge, I was like, okay, I've got some shots. They're not the best shots I've ever taken, but I've seen them. It's time for me to just put these guys in the rearview mirror here. I'm done chasing after the boas. But yeah, I'm still going to keep looking to try to get some better shots. Because I'm happy that I found them, and I'm happy that I've, feel like I've seen them. So like in a couple of years where everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I remember when all the Bohemian Waxwings were here," I could say, "Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing them out at Wheat Ridge." Like I can say that now at least, but I don't feel like I have really good shots. So I'm still going to keep going after them. So, like, someone just saying, it's like, "Oh yeah, it's the twitcher birder in you." And I was like, I don't even know what that means. So apparently a twitcher birder is somebody who only goes after like rare birds. And don't get me wrong, I love chasing down rare birds, but it's not the only thing I go photograph. So I don't know if I'm fully a twitcher birder. And apparently that's a pretty derogatory like thing to be too. So well, I don't want to be that either. But anyways, that was the boas. So yeah, I've been going after these guys for weeks unsuccessfully, and then finally saw them a couple days ago out in Wheat Ridge with the new lens, so that was cool. But all right, so next thing I wanted to talk about that I just saw the other day. I was going through my Steam. If you're a video game nerd, you know Steam is where all of PC games, or most of the PC games, it's like a big PC gaming marketplace. And they show you like new releases and like everything that's coming up. And so this popped up in my new release list. Birding Simulator, Bird Photographer. There's actually going to be a bird photographer video game coming out. It's just super cool. So I was like, what? No way. So here's some of the screenshots. It's still being developed. It says they haven't even made a release date. yet, but it says it's coming soon. So, but yeah, I mean, whoa, look at that bald eagle. What the hell's wrong with it? Yeah, but it says it's supposed to be like realistic. It doesn't look like it's a huge budget game. Definitely an indie game, but let's see what they say about it. About this game, the unique birding simulator hits Steam with an amazing ornithological journey full of memorable adventures. You can discover beautiful bird species and photograph them in a virtual North America-based world. The simulator to experience the realistically reproduced mechanics and aspects of photography and bird watching. Dive deep into the world of wildlife and get up close to birds in their natural habitat. Photographing system. Several biomes with different vegetation types. Okay. Varied and unpredictable behavior of birds. Oppose the corporation. Save the endangered nature reserve. Oh, is there a little story involved in the game too? Try to take the best photos and earn high marks. Adjust the camera settings. Okay, so you get to actually go in and mess with your camera and become the best birder or photographer in the world. I already am. Realistic, diverse locations. Become a real birder. Well, these guys look real. I don't know. They're not wearing enough camo. Adjust all the necessary camera parameters accordingly. Okay. Save the forest. Participate in the story of a businessman. Returns to his family home and discovers an ecological threat to the nearby forest. The compelling and extensive storyline, complemented by real-life simulator, will allow you to go through the various stages of the hero's life, from learning photography through childhood love to a rescue mission in the endangered forest. Well, that's cool. Ready to take photo birds? Follow our social profiles. Okay. Cool. So anyways, there's an actual bird photography video game coming soon, which is, yeah, I mean, with these, it's so, as someone who's been playing video games most of my life, you really have to take these sort of things with a grain of salt, especially when it comes from small developers and indie games. You're expecting, oh, so it's going to be this big blockbuster, and you realize it's like, oh no, this is a pretty low budget game. But still, I'm definitely going to try it. So, once it comes out, I'll make a video about it. Maybe we'll do a little demo or do some gameplay. But cool. Last thing here on this video. So I am going on my first trip of the year. It's already booked. I've still got, the flights are booked, but I still have to get hotels and everything sorted away. But I am going the last week of February into the first week of March. You ready for this? The Sax-Zim Bog. If you guys have not heard of the Sax-Zim Bog, I'm sure everyone has, but it is a bog up in Minnesota that during the winter get great gray owls and chances at a snowy owl and just tons of other cool winter birds. So I am going. So it's funny, I was telling a friend about it, and they're like, man, most people go to like Cancun for like spring break. You're going to Duluth. I was like, yeah, I'm not really a Cancun guy. Actually, Cancun sounds amazing too, but I'm going to Duluth. So, I am going to go up here to Minnesota in February. I must be nuts to try to see a great gray owl or a snowy owl. So yeah, look at some of these shots. Oh, so great. Of course, you never know, but so I am leaving on a Saturday. I am going to fly to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then take a connecting flight from Minneapolis, St. Paul up to Duluth. And then I am going to go to the Sax-Zim Bog Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning, Monday night, Tuesday morning, Tuesday night. So I will have 3 days there. And my idea is that I would like to go in, at the good times. So right at sunrise and then right again at sunset. And I'm going to be staying in Duluth. And then I am going to be flying from So it's actually kind of a two-part trip. So then I'm going to be flying from Duluth, Minnesota, back to Chicago, and then I'm flying from Chicago to go see my parents down in Tucson. Yes, so then I'm going to go to Tucson for the rest of the week. So I'm going to go do some bird photography down there with my dad. We were thinking about going over to, I believe it's Wilcox that has the Sandhill cranes. And then, of course, we will go to Box Canyon, I think it is, that has all the hummingbirds. And so I am going from very cold Minnesota down to hopefully very pleasant Tucson and go see my folks. So, yeah, I am going to try to... So I would like to try to see some owls down in Arizona as well. I would like to try to see some burrowing owls down there. But I'm not sure where they normally are in Arizona. So I will have to do some research on that. But yeah. So that's what I got coming up. And so we're going to Arizona. We're going to Minnesota. In February. Yeah, bring a jacket. It's going to be a very diverse suitcase on this trip where I'm going to be bringing lots of winter clothes, and then I'm also going to be bringing shorts for Arizona. So anyways, yeah, that's my plan coming up, and thanks for watching the little extra video here. Again, it's just kind of me going into a little bit more in depth or sort of behind the scenes about making of the actual main video. So I hope you liked it, and if it seems like it's getting a decent response, I'll keep doing these. But yeah, we'll see. So thanks for watching, and yeah, catch you in the next one. Bye.